It's OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app. Your home smart speaker up on TSN 4. Brian Hayes, Frankie Corrado, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
What's up, boys? What's going on? I promise throughout the course of this show, we will not bury each other the same way that Al Michaels buried Kirk Herbstreit last night. Did you guys catch that? Did you see that?
I did not catch that.
So Herbstreit's talking, and he's talking about Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen and how you want to see more out of Kyler Murray because, you know, guys in his draft class, they're doing better. And Al Michaels just goes, he was a year later.
Which just is accurate, though.
But I know, but like
right.
you never correct your guy like that. It's just like you just let it slide, right? You don't show him up, and he's like, it was a year later.
Yeah, you let him.
So awkward.
You do. Frankie, you and I can relate to this because you're working with somebody, and usually like Gord Miller. I work with Gord all the time, and he's an encyclopedia, so he knows dates, facts, all of these things. And if there's ever a correction, usually it's him correcting me, but he won't like jam me up right on air. He will go in the talk back or lean over or write something down going, it was another year, another thing. Like he'll correct you, but not to your face live in front of how many million of people would have been watching that. But
it's just one of those things. It's like an unspoken thing that you don't do. But I guess Al Michaels at the point was like, I don't care. What is he, 80 years old doing this? And he's like, it was a year later. That's
over 80. He's been doing it forever. He was the voice of the Miracle on Ice. That's 45 years ago.
Yes.
And you're right. I'm assuming the director or producer got in his ear and said, actually, it was a year later, and he just blurted it out. And I guess I didn't catch that live because I was watching the Leafs last night. The best fourth line in hockey was rocking last night, and I was watching the Blue Jays. How about them Jays finding a way to get a win? And I did catch the end of that game, which was outstanding. Luke will join us in half an hour. These kickoff rules where they start on the 40 is going to change the whole game. It has to. And the idea that the Cardinals kick the PAT as opposed to going for two when you are risking handing the ball over at the 40 if your kicker doesn't land in the landing zone. It's complicated. It's different. I kind of understand what the NFL is trying to do, but it changes the whole complexion late in a game.
It does.
But you're right about the rules and the tricks of the trade, and do you bury a guy?
Wow, listen.
Is it necessary to bury a guy? We would, but we would do it in a joking manner. It sounds like Al Michaels was just all business. And
it was just one line, man. It was just one line.
I was just going to say, Frankie, though, like, yes, when it's you and Muddy or me and Gordon, all that, there's rules. On this show, there's no rules. Like, if you say something, we'll interrupt you and go, actually, that's wrong. And we will enjoy doing that and taking the facts to the woodshed. So I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what year are we in? Are we in 2012? Did I see James Reimer's name come across my desk?
Jimmy's got to go right to Austin Matthews and say, hey, pal, I'm taking 34 back because I had it first, and you never even asked me permission to use it.
I like that because you're right. Tenure goes to James Reimer. You want to hear how long ago this guy was playing for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
TSN Radio launched on, I believe, April 11th, 2011, maybe April 13th. I think it was April 13th, 2011. Yeah. I was doing a solo show from 10 a.m. to 12. They really snuck me in. Like, they were basically like, put this kid in, tell him to shut up, get out of the way. That was first day. Remember, I showed up with the worst shirt you've ever seen in your life?
The hand, yes.
With the hand motion.
Yes.
And someone was, like, watching over your shoulder. I kind of wonder if that was like, we got to keep a close eye on this guy. Like,
I think there was
not, like, a level of trust established.
I wasn't a high-profile guy. Let's put it that way. At this, when the station launched, it was the morning show and the afternoon drive, which is generally the way radio stations work throughout North America. And the morning show was 4 hours, and they had people coming in and a buffet and breakfast. And I remember for 10 a.m., I'm trying to get in. I'm, like, moving people. I'm like, you got to move. Excuse me, I'm trying to get in.
Yeah.
But first day on the air, TSM Radio, I had one in-studio guest, James Reimer.
No
Jimmy.
way.
James
That's
Reimer.
awesome.
Somehow they booked Reimer. I remember getting the note week of, because I was the last one hired. I just got in. Everyone else had been hired and established. The lineup was set. And I just got in, just under the wire. They hired me. Clearly, I was not their first choice. They obviously were trying to get other guys, and they're like, I guess we'll give them a shot, 10 to noon. I don't know. So first day, I'm in there, 10 to 12, and I think I got a note the day before, or maybe a couple of days before, saying James Reimer's coming in. And the year before was when he came up.
Right.
And he had come up and established himself, and then that was his first year as a Leaf. And that was the 2010-2011 season, so it's pretty big. James Reimer, that's almost 15 years ago.
Dude,
he was breaking in as a Maple Leaf, and now he's coming into town on a tryout for the Leafs.
And think about all the time that has passed between that point and now, and to this day, James Reimer is like the last guy they truly drafted, developed, turned into a guy that lasted a long time. Like Joe Wall likely tracks to be that, but I don't think you can declare it that quite yet. And in the meantime, there's been Bernier, there's been Freddie Anderson, there's been Jack Campbell. Am I missing anyone? Like Jonas Enroth. All these guys have come and gone. Hayes, that is crazy. They were talking about 2011, and that's the last truly organizational draft developed model type guy they've had in net.
We should, and I guarantee you somebody has put this together, certainly with Leafs Twitter and stuff like that. Since James Reimer, his last start, we'll call it as a Leaf, how many goaltenders have been through the Leafs system? And you just mentioned a bunch, Frankie.
Dude, I was there when Reimer got traded to San Jose, and we went Bernier, Sparks the rest of the year. Then the next year was Anderson, Enroth. Then it was Anderson, McElhaney. Then it was Anderson, Campbell, maybe, and then
Campbell,
and then Campbell with
who was Campbell
he
with?
It was what's his name? It was in Chicago now. They signed.
Oh, Mrazek.
Mrazek.
Yeah, Mrazek. Peter Mrazek.
Yeah.
That didn't work out so well. Yeah, there's been a lot of turnover. And James Reimer, he's here. It says clearly a lot about the Joseph Wall situation, where the Maple Leafs are uncertain when he's going to be available to them. And it's Joseph Wall that will make that determination, which he is free to do. And he's dealing with something right now. He's not with the team. But you don't bring in a veteran like James Reimer and give him a shot unless you're concerned that Joseph Wall is not going to be available for possibly the foreseeable future.
Here's why I think it's a really shrewd move by Tree. You're not grabbing somebody off waivers where you're committed to that contract. You're committed to, if Wall comes back next week, all of a sudden, hey, we got to waive this guy, and if he makes it through waivers, we got to plug him into the minors. He gets into Hildeby's way. What you do is you're bridging the gap. Now, Hildeby looked good again last night. Now, he could have played, Frankie, I might have been able to play
the Habs
in last
did not
game.
have any interest in playing hockey last night.
I don't care about a preseason game or not. Like, that coach there is wired. Marty St. Louis is wired. He would have been pissed off about that performance last night with your top six in the lineup.
But my point being is Hildeby, it looks good again. So why, I don't think the Leafs want to give to get in his way. If they need him for, let's just work backwards from 5 games into the season. Hildeby can do that. He can back up. He might be able to give you, he can give you a start if needed. Stolarz is the guy right now to start the season. So they've got that situation already fine. Game 1, if he's healthy and all that, it's Anthony Stolarz. But it's the number 2 slot that you're going, okay, let's see what James Reimer has. And if Joseph Wall's situation ends up a little bit lengthier than we hoped or thought, Reimer could sign and be waived and either put in with the Marlies while Hildebeest is up here, or vice versa. Like, it gives you another NHL
options.
Body.
You guys know this about James Reimer, that his entire career, prior to the 2 games he played with Anaheim last year, if you just took those away, because I didn't even remember that he played games with Anaheim.
Right.
His entire career, he only has 1 year with a sub-900 save percentage. That's remarkable. Like, the guy's been in he's been in the league a long time. He's played on a bunch of different teams. He doesn't get credit for having a ton of cachet as a big time starter. But I'm sorry, you bring in a guy at this age who's had 1 year sub 900 in the NHL. James Reimer's been a quality goalie for a long time. He has. Is he a top-tier guy? No, but he's been a quality goalie for a long time.
I agree. And you know what? I know that I was wrong on him a couple ways. Like, I remember, I always thought he had rebound issues, right? Like, that was here in Toronto. That was one of the things, is rebounds. And then he went and signed, I think it was a 5-year deal or something with, like, the Florida Panthers. I believe it was, like, a lengthy deal. And I was wrong, because I was thinking, okay, he'll get a 1 or 2 year deal and might be out of the league. This guy has had a very long, productive career. To your point, Frankie, what he's been able to do. And he's likable. Like, Hayes, you've talked to him other than just the.
Yeah, I had the interview, day one interview. Which I'm sure he was mortified by. What am I doing in here? This is the guy I'm with? Yeah. This guy with the goofy shirt who no one knows? And why aren't I on the morning show or in the afternoon? Yelling and screaming. But I think James Reimer is. It came out of, I wouldn't say came out of left field, because obviously Tree and his staff do a lot of research. Well, Joseph Wall leaving the team opened up the door for the Leafs to do something. And yes, Reimer was a very lovable story, because he wasn't well known. He wasn't a first round pick. And when he showed up down the stretch, he was great. And that was the era for the Maple Leafs. That was the down the stretch era. They did it every year. They were horrendous from October through March. And then they were great in April, and everyone said, here we go. And Reimer was that guy. He came up late in the season, looked very good. The next year he looked pretty good. Ron Wilson era, they weren't very good. Brian Burke era, they weren't very good. Yeah. But he was very likable. He was also the recipient of Randy Carlyle in Detroit. James Reimer, he was okay. Just okay. Was one of our favorite quotes. We got to pull that up. Like we will find that. In Detroit, I'll never forget it. That's when they were on the road. That's the year they were 9 points into the playoffs with 15 games to go, and they missed the playoffs by 9 points. You know how difficult that is to do? And that was Reimer and Bernier. And Bernier got hurt on the West Coast, and then it was all Reimer, and it obviously didn't end well on that front. And then Reimer was also the goalie there in 2013, Game 7, up 4-1. Yep. With 11 minutes to go. And after that, the team said, we got to go in a different direction. And that's when Bernier, I believe, came in after that. And then 9 points, 15 games to go. Anyway, it's not all negative. It wasn't all negative. There were positives with James Reimer, but he's here on a tryout, and we'll see what comes of it. I think it's also, that 4-1 meltdown or whatever, people forget, like, he had like a 45-save performance. Game 5 and 6, he was brilliant. They were down 3-1 in that series, and he was great in Game 5 and 6. They had no right to push it to Game 7. Yeah, that is incredible that there is someone that played in that game that is in camp for the Leafs. Wearing a jersey. Wearing a Leaf jersey. A different one, albeit. We're bringing back 34. Up 4-1 with 11 minutes to go. We're bringing it back. Yeah. And that's not the only big news in the NHL today that has a connection to the Maple Leafs. Sasha Barkov went down in practice yesterday. He's currently undergoing surgery if he's not already finished. It's very likely he's done for the season. The question is, can he return for the playoffs or not? If he can, if they think he can, his cap hit stays on their books all year. They will get some relief, but not full relief of his $10 million cap hit. If they determine he's done for the year, they will have the opportunity to use up that $10 million, but that means Barkov's done. He can't come back. Yeah. And this is having massive implications on the gambling world. Like, future odds have completely changed in terms of Florida possibly winning the division. Can they win the Stanley Cup for a third straight year? Don't forget, Matthew Tkachuk is out until at least December, possibly into the new year. Yep. This is massive for the psyche of the team and everything down in Florida. It's huge, and I guess it depends on what kind of knee surgery he's having, because if it's an ACL, it's 9 months, so that puts him in June. He's not playing, right? Like, if it's something different, he has a chance to maybe play in the playoffs, but I see a lot of people saying, oh, Chicago owns Florida's first-round pick. They're laughing right now. I don't think anyone's laughing about owning Florida's first-round pick. Like, Florida's still a really good team. Take away Sasha Barkov, no problem. They're a worse team, but you don't think Anton Lundell is ready to play more? Like, they re-signed Sam Bennett. They just showed you they're the deepest team in the NHL. Like, this is not all of a sudden
It's going to affect their Stanley Cup odds, but this isn't turning them into a lottery team. Give me a break.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you on that, but Barkov and Tkachuk
blow.
out. They played more hockey than anybody in 3 years. Bobrovsky's 37. This is how it flips quickly.
It does.
This is how the psyche of the room, you guys have been in rooms, well, no one's been in a room like this since the Islanders back in the 80s, where you've won this much. Are they going to get up off the mat, or are they going to mentally punt on the season? I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Not saying they do it consciously. Obviously, publicly, they're not going to do it.
For sure.
But mentally, if you're in the room and you're saying, man, we have 2 rings already, Barkov's done, Chucky's out, for whatever. Let's see what we can do. But what I think what changes here, because you guys have been saying it, Noodles, you said this a million times in the last 2 weeks. They don't care about the regular season. They just got to they better start caring, because there's no guarantee you get to 97, 98 points anymore. Like without Barkov, without Tkachuk, if Bobrovsky comes back to earth at all at his age, you got to get there first.
You do.
You can't just fall asleep and wake up with 98 points.
No,
you can't in the toughest division in the league. This is going to challenge them.
100%, and you don't get to just throw your stick out there and people go, oh, it's Florida, here's 2 points tonight. Everybody guns for the Stanley Cup champion. Every night you're defending that cup. We know how it is. Teams get up for that. I've got something that might, again, this is just speculation and it's ridiculous, but I feel like it would make Brian's head fall off because it.
Let's hear it.
I know where you're going. Can I predict what you're about to say?
You predict what I'm going to say.
Let me predict what you're about to say.
You predict what I'm going to say.
Barkov's done for the year. Goes in the IR. Sidney Crosby's going to Florida. Is that what you're about to say?
No, Evgeny Malkin. Evgeny Malkin makes more sense than Sidney Crosby.
It'll be Sid.
It's Sid.
Sid will go. Of course he'll go.
Yeah.
8.7. He'll waive to go to Florida.
Okay, so but honestly, Noodles brings up a good point.
It sickens me to think of that.
Bill Zito deserves the benefit of the doubt based on everything he's been able to do and the maneuvers he's been able to make. I have no doubt he's got something cooking already. But if that's like, let's just say that doesn't get done and they got to roll with who they got. I don't think this takes Florida out of like the playoff mix. What I think this does is it creates a reasonable path for whoever's going to play them in the first round, if it's Toronto or if it's Ottawa or Tampa Bay, to beat them in like 5 games, right? And not have to go against the big bad Panthers where you feel like you're out of it even if they're down in the series. Like that's what I think has happened here. Not that they're completely out of the picture. It's like now they're beatable.
Well, listen. You take out a superstar player, which he is, a top-tier player off any team, you're weakened. You are. There's just no getting around it. And again, whether that's regular season or season and playoffs, all of that. I was joking, tongue-in-cheek. I know all hell's going to break loose, and they're going to say, Noodles is saying Crosby. I'm not saying Crosby.
They already clipped it for online. Yeah, exactly. It's everywhere already.
What I'm saying is I thought it was funny because Hayes knew exactly where my mind was going. It's like the Florida Panthers find a way to maneuver. Yeah. Let's not forget, though, and this is where I am kind of hedging. I think what happened, our conversation changes. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the pace car in the National Hockey League. It's just as gold standard as Florida, and how's everybody going to beat Florida? Well, if Florida is weakened, what it does is bring them back to the pack. But it doesn't make them a wild card, or I'm sorry, a bottom 5 team. You've got Sam Bennett there. You've got Lundell. Those are two.
Thankfully for them, Bennett re-signed.
No, exactly.
Could you imagine if Bennett was somewhere else now? Then it's a different story.
Let me just look at just on paper here or whatever. I'll go over it. You've got Bennett, Lundell, into Rodriguez. Rodriguez, good player. They've got him down the middle in the third. Verhaeghe, Reinhart with Bennett, Lusterin, Lundell, Marchand. That your third line bumps up to your second line. They're still very good, but they are not the,
that's a big difference.
Another level. It's a huge difference.
Big difference.
It is, but my point being is it just makes them human. It doesn't make them subhuman.
Bingo. Exactly. All of a sudden now you roll into the first round if you're Ottawa and you got Timmy Superstar. You're like, Timmy Superstar doesn't have to go against Barkov. He's opened up a little bit more now. Go down the list of all these guys that you're going to have to go one-on-one with.
Yep.
That's what it is. It creates a path to beat them where I think, even though they had all the wear and tear in the games played, it's going to be difficult to beat Florida again.
I look at Bill Zito, like this guy already has 10 ideas of how he's going to fill that.
Listen,
void.
he might return, though, too. We
That's
haven't heard officially yet. It's
Right.
possible Barkov returns for the playoffs. And if that happens, then maybe you're looking at a Kucherov situation from a few years ago, and that's a very scary proposition for whoever's going to play them. Yeah. So more on this with Mike Johnson just over 45 minutes from now. Dear Hazy B coming up today. Luke will join us with more picks. Al's brother's going to be in the house. The Jays with a big win last night. Dalton Varsho with the biggest grand slam I can think of in a long, long time. Long time. Man, did they need that.
Yes,
because Louis Varland showed up. Louis Varland was great. They were no-hitting the Sox through 6, and they couldn't score runs. Mm-hmm. And then they finally came alive. And the magic number is 3 because the Yankees won again last night.
Which was going to happen. You knew that was going to be the case.
It just feels like the Yankees are going to sweep Baltimore. It feels like it, which means the Jays they have to. If you want to win the American League East, you're going to have to sweep the Tampa Bay Rays.
Like win,
and they
win
put
out.
themselves in that situation, though. Like,
they did by losing all those games.
Exactly. This is not like, I don't know. It's not like everyone was beating up on you. You did it to yourself. You couldn't hit. The rotation went sour. But at least the bats came to life a little bit. Like it's so important just to finally see it happen. You get good energy in the stadium, in the clubhouse. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was good, and I think that I know they were favored yesterday to win that game. I don't understand how when you had an opener and it was a bullpen game, but that was digging deep, man. Whatever the baseball equivalent of like digging deep and finding something, all those guys did that. Like from the bullpen pitchers who played and everyone who contributed. George Springer gets on the board too. Like that was big stuff from those guys.
Well, Varsho goes lefty on lefty, which is rare. Very rare, especially for this Blue Jay team. Very analytical, and they look at all that kind of stuff. And Schneider and company played a gut instinct, and it was the right one. It was the right one, and Vladdy, again, continues to struggle, but he was on the bases. He did get cashed in with that grand slam last night, and they're going to need more from him this weekend. But the magic number got chopped down by 1. The Jays did themselves a big favor last night. Mm-hmm. And you can't predict exactly what will happen with the Yankees. I think they might sweep Baltimore. I wouldn't be shocked, but I would have to believe it's a minimum 2 out of 3.
Dude, imagine we lost that game last night, though. Like it's
over.
Well,
then you're chasing.
That point.
Then you're chasing.
I think it's over at that point. At least now you're still like what did John Schneider say? Like not that they were in the driver's seat or something like that. We're in a good spot, but you're still there.
Yes,
right? Status quo. You're still there. At least.
They are leading the Yankees. Same amount of wins, same record, but they are leading the Yankees based on the tiebreak. And if the Yankees, let's say they win 2 out of 3. It's difficult to win in baseball. It's difficult to win in sports, period. Let's say they win 2 out of 3. Then the Jays are going to have to do the same thing.
Yep.
Jays are going to have to win 2 out of 3 against a Tampa team that's pretty good. And plays them pretty well. But you're more than capable of doing it. You're going to have home field advantage. The building's going to be packed. That place was going nuts when Varsho hit that ball last night.
Yeah.
The vibes are going to be great down there. Take advantage.
My only worry is they might have to do it on Sunday, where you were hoping.
Which means Gosman's going to have to pitch.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And this is why you go get Shane Bieber tonight. Tomorrow's why you bring up Trey Savage. What an opportunity for this kid. Will be his third start, but a massive first impression. Going up against a team he's already faced, which is pretty significant in baseball, when you've got a bit of a funky, rotation and funky throwing, basically a funky way of throwing the ball.
Yeah,
Tampa's
kind
seen
of
it.
Over the top, hey? Like he's really over the top, and people were like that. Rob Friedman had videos of like him and Verlander. It kind of looks the same. I get the comparison, right? He's got a long way to go, but holy smokes, man! There's no way this kid thought that he would be in this situation at the start of the season.
Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible that after Shane Bieber goes tonight, Trey Savage goes tomorrow, and we'll find out who starts on Sunday. So more on the Jays and the Rays as we move on throughout the afternoon. We're tracking the Ryder Cup, too. You see Donald Trump was there in golf shoes. He's golf shoe guy.
Dude, he's golf shoe guy.
And not only golf shoe guy at the course, which is totally unacceptable, but I expect it. He was golf shoe guy at the White House.
In a suit.
Suit with golf shoes to get on Marine One to fly up.
Hayes, can I tell you something?
Out of the White House with...
Yeah.
You got to put those golf
white
shoes on
shoes.
when you land at Bethpage.
Dude, let me tell you something about golf shoe guy, and we've joked around about it a lot.
Like does he
over the
think
years.
he's playing right here? I think there's a chance Trump was walking to the first tee with Bryson thinking, I might take a swing.
Exactly.
There's a chance I'm going to swing, and I might hit a golf ball.
Listen, golf shoes are made to walk on golf courses. I've totally flipped the script and come around to this. I love golf shoes at a golf
say
tournament.
that.
I think it's the right thing to do because you're made to walk for 4 hours in golf shoes. That's what they're made for.
Yeah, but Trump's not walking. Was he walking for 4 hours? He was.
Oh, who the hell knows what he was doing?
He
after
wasn't.
that.
He's probably already out of there.
Exactly.
And yes, they're made to play golf for 4 hours, not walk the golf course, and certainly not to sit at the first tee, which is what he was doing for the most part.
Dude,
golf shoes in a suit are an outrageous fashion statement.
It is crazy. And then that first pairing from the U.S. gets slapped around by Rahm and Hatton.
It got ugly for the Americans this morning, and it's pretty close this afternoon, so we'll track that. We got Johnny coming up, Mike Johnson just after 5. The top 10 is out for TSN's top 50. Was a part of that show this morning. It was awesome to see Marty and Mike Johnson. To no one's surprise, Connor McDavid at number 1, but we'll get into the top 50 with Johnny and get his take on the Barkov injury, the James Reimer tryout with the Leafs, and Luke coming up on the Seahawks winning and covering last night. We'll have picks for this upcoming weekend. More with Luke Wilson as well this hour. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Sunday on TSN 1050. A full slate of NFL matchups starting bright and early with Vikings Steelers from Ireland, followed by Eagles Bucks. Plus a big afternoon tilt between the Ravens and Chiefs. Coverage starts at 9:30 a.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
If you smell what the Win Wilson is cooking.
All right, Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Turned out to be a pretty good football game last night. The second half, the Cardinals started cooking, but the Seahawks get a win in the end. Owen Wilson gets a cover in the end. I hate these kickoff rules, Luke. I hate that you got to put it somewhere in the landing zone, and if you don't, it starts on the 40. That's just that's child's play for quarterbacks in the modern game. All they got to do is get 15 yards. Kickers can kick the ball 60, 65 yards now. Right when the guy didn't land in the landing zone, basically Seattle had won the game.
Yeah, and I agree, Hayes. And it's something that the NFL...
Did we lose Luke there?
Actually,
yeah. We got you, Luke.
You
Okay. We're trying to play video, and I don't know if we can play it while you're on. So we got you, though. Continue. Go ahead.
Okay, we're back. All right. I was saying, you nailed it, Hayes. It's twofold for me, and it's something that the NFL is going to continue to have to monitor and look at. Starting on the 40 is way too much. It's way too much. I used to get it when you kick it out of bounds. But the landing zone is not out of bounds, and that thing's half a yard. And I do think it's funny, but it's a big ordeal. And the first time I heard it was with Jason Kelsey on his podcast a while ago. But right now it's fun that Brandon Aubrey can kick 65-yard field goals because he's almost a trailblazer on how far and how consistent he's making those. But what's not fun is when the kickers continue to evolve, and now all of a sudden it's hey, we're at the 50, we're in scoring range. Okay, we start at the 35, we get 1 first down, we run the ball 3 times, it's 3rd and 2, and we're at the 47, we're kicking a field goal. It's wait, we started at the 35 and we threw the ball once, got 11 yards and didn't get another first down. We got 8 or 9 yards and we're going to get a field goal out of this. It doesn't really lead to a great brand of football, in my opinion. And honestly, the game, again, I don't want to steal Jason Kelsey's thunder here because he was kind of the first guy I ever heard talk about it like this. And I couldn't agree with him more. The game's not really meant to be played that way. The game is meant to be won and lost in the trenches with great defensive plays or running backs or one-on-ones with receivers and DBs or quarterbacks going through progressions. It's not really meant to be like, hey, we need to get 15 total yards and we have a kicker that can come in and continually boot 65-yarders.
No, it's ridiculous. And last night was a perfect example because Kirk Herbstreit, who has been playing football and calling football for 30 years, said, oh, you have to kick the PAT because you have so much momentum. You got to go to overtime because you got momentum. And it turns out you don't if your kicker can't get into the landing zone. So you almost have to go for two. Like, I feel like what this is going to lead to is it's going to change the way the scoring team maybe acts with 25, 30 seconds on the clock where they start going for two. Because if you hand a team, especially with a competent quarterback, and that's what Darnold is, competent. He's not great, but you hand that to Mahomes or Allen or Jackson, that's child's play getting 10 yards. Child's play for them. The game's over.
And, Hayes, I totally agree with that. And I think that the sentiment of why they did it, because last year there was like no kick returns, and we want to have returns in the game. And I'm sure when they came together, it was like, hey, this will kind of spur and there has been a ton more returns this year, which has been fun. But the whole didn't land in the landing zone thing is it's definitely a dagger. And the other thing that gets a bit strange too for me is I believe now if you kick it in the end zone, it goes to the 35 is my rule knowledge. So what gets really weird for me, and it happened a few weeks ago, is at that point, it's only a 5-yard difference. It was what was the game where it was the 2-minute ordeal and they took it out and blew the 2-minute warning part of it, where it's like kick the ball out of bounds and you save the 2 minutes, if you're down. Because if you kick it in the end zone and they take a knee, it's the 35. If you kick it out of bounds, it's the 40. So I guess my point here is if it's let's say, you're down and there's 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. And you're like, well, we got to make sure that the team, that you're kicking to, if you elect not to go for an onside kick, you want the 2-minute warning to stay in play. The timeout is a big ordeal. Where it's like, okay, we can kick in the end zone, and now they have to decide, are they going to take it out? Then the field position switches, and you get to that. Well, or you just kick it out of bounds, and either way, it's a 5-yard difference, and you get to keep the 2-minute warning. So I remember that happened earlier in the year, and I thought to myself, it's really not a well-polished situation on this kickoff right now.
What's your evaluation on Kyler Murray? So last night, Noodles and I are doing the Leaf game, hop in the car, and the guys on Westwood 1 are talking about how it's really weird on the Arizona sideline right now. No one's near Murray. He's not talking to anyone. Everyone's giving him his space. And it's it's really weird, right? There's no energy around it. Then all of a sudden you get home and you're like, cue the comeback. And Kyler Murray's buzzing. Yeah. What's your read on this guy, and what holds him back from being, kind of in the conversation with the really talented QBs?
Frankie, there's a few things for me, and it's hard to point for me because I'm not in the locker room. It's hard to point my finger right at Kyler. Is it the offensive coaching staff? Is it the players? Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. had a tale of two halves yesterday. But even the comebacks, there were some good moments. But when I think of a really well-oiled machine, a really, professional football drive, I'll go to my guy, Matthew Stafford, where it's like, hey, I'm back there and we get the run game going. We got to play action. Even Sam Darnold, in the moments they did have drives yesterday, it was like big run. Okay, go through progression 1, throw to my second read. Okay, manipulated defense with my eyes, flip back, this guy's wide open. Where it's like yesterday, the big plays to Marvin Harrison's second half were just freak of nature athlete plays. The touchdown to Marvin Harrison, he was completely gloved. There's zero separation. He just out-physicaled, out-talented Witherspoon at the point of attack to catch that football. The second one, which was not a touchdown, but a big chunk on the game-tying drive, was, again, Marvin kind of back shoulder, inside fade, kind of wheel route vibe. There's no separation there at all. It's a great throw by Kyler. It's a great adjustment by Marvin Harrison Jr. So my kind of read on this guy is you can, obviously, being a super athlete, which he is, and which Marvin Harrison is a big ordeal and will, It'll lead to you making plays in this league. But that being said, it's much tougher and not as consistent as if you can do those things and operate mentally at a very high level. And when I watch Arizona, the mental side of it, hey, what are they running? What are we running? How can I manipulate this defense? None of that occurs. And that's kind of why, I'm like, hey, it's going to be very choppy for them, which is what we saw last night.
So, Luke, are people changing their minds on Sam Darnold and the Seahawks? I mean, where are you at with them? 3-1, they're not too bad.
Yeah, contenders. Where do they rank in the NFC?
Where are you at?
This is where I'd say it was Seattle right now. Right, if I had to say, you've got your two NFC North teams, Detroit and Green Bay. Philly, obviously, is your top three. And then after that, you put Seattle in that next kind of group, knocking on the door. The Rams are in there for me. The Niners are in there, but with the injuries, they're kind of on the outside right now. Obviously, they're 3-0, so you got to respect that. I think the Niners have an incredible coaching staff. Seattle is in there. I would put Tampa Bay in that conversation.
Big time.
Totally. But what jams me up with Seattle right now is they're very talented. Their defense is very, very talented. I think offensively, they got weapons across the board. The O-line is substantially better than what it has been in the past. Sam looks super comfortable. JSN looks awesome. Their number 2 right now, I'd still would say, is Cooper Kupp, who hasn't been brilliant this year statistically, but does a lot of nice things. The 2 young tight ends, they got 2 good running backs. Kenneth Walker is really an electric guy in space. So they've got the pieces where I get a little hesitant to be let's throw them in there with Detroit and Green Bay and Philadelphia. Is you look at last night and it's 20-6 and you're in complete control and you let Kyler Murray back the game. And it's just there's no way this should come down to a Jason Myers kick the way the first 3 quarters of that game was played. You look at week 1 with, oh God.
What's so great about cutting Luke? That was deep analysis of that's his team. He won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks and he gets cut off by a walk-in from Al's brother. This isn't just Al's brother coming in his house or on some cruise or in Vancouver.
I can't see anything, boys. I can't see anything right now. But all I want to know is there bad blood?
Look at this guy.
No,
he's got a crisp white T-shirt on, too.
That's a Vancouverites. That looks like you were in the mountains recently.
I was. I was in the mountains. I'm a new man. A new man coming back. Why would there be bad blood? I don't understand.
Kidding.
What did I miss?
All we do is pick winners. We rope-a-dope every single year.
All you do is pick winners. You guys are +2. I had the worst beat of all time, and I'm now +1. This should be a +3 situation right now if it wasn't for a kicker on the Rams. On top of that, Al's brother just disappeared. We haven't heard from him, man. So as you disappeared, Al's bro, you guys have absolutely plummeted, and you're never going to see a lead again.
I was concerned about you, Al's brother. You did go dark on me a little bit there last week, but it's all good. It's great to see you again.
I'll take the heat on Friday. I was in an airplane, so I couldn't get back to you on Friday. Okay. We spoke on Monday.
Yeah, well, listen, the communication is as fluid as you could possibly get with a team right now. This is basically Rory and Lowry at the Ryder Cup right now.
Right.
This is us. All right, so Hazenbro, we're on. Speaking of Rory and Lowry, in Ireland, you got Vikings-Steelers. Vikings -2.5. Hazenbro kicking off what will be an immaculate Sunday for us.
I feel it. I feel it's going to be immaculate Sunday, and I feel like it's going to start with a little Vikings roll to start things off here. I really
love that, Al's brother. I love that pick.
Thank you, Frankie. Someone with some sense here who used to be a professional athlete. Look, to me, I look at the Minnesota Vikings, and I just think that the Vikings are the better team from top to bottom, besides one position. We'll give Aaron Rodgers a slight edge.
But Carson's, man, he looks pretty good.
Carson put up 48 points last week.
Love Carson Wentz.
And it's not
he
just
didn't
Carson.
Put up 48 points. He did not put up 48 points.
Defensive touchdowns.
Scored.
All right.
It's all good.
All this stuff you're saying, Al's brother, is completely
erroneous.
It's all irrelevant. It comes down to one thing, and this was, I'm sure I'm getting catfished, but I hope I'm not. The Vikings flew most of their players in pods, business class, and the Steelers did not. they had their players in like economy seats going over.
Low class. Low class
Vikings
organization.
By a billion.
Yes,
a billion.
Vikings are high class, and that's what we are.
We are
High class.
I do.
That's all the analysis you need right now.
That's it. Just how they flew down there. That's all you need to know. But the Pittsburgh Steelers have been a bit of a dumpster fire defensively. Offensively, they've been okay, but this Vikings defense is for real. There has not been a drop off from last year. I think they had the lowest defensive EPA per play this year, the second best DVOA. So I think they'll be able to stop that Steelers offense, and I've got no issues with
I love that pick. Lock it in, Hazenbro. Vikings -2.5. By noon, we're back to even. All right, 1 o'clock game. Eagles -3.5 at the Bucs. Eagles favored big going down to Tampa. Owen Wilson on the clock.
Such an easy pick.
Yeah, this is a layup.
Yeah, it's Eagles all day. Mike Evans isn't playing. I know Godwin might be back. We'll see. But the Eagles are going to come in here and they're going to cover this spread. That's just the reality of the situation. Without Mike Evans in here, I'm not going to take a situation where you've got Ibuka as your best guy and he's a rookie against this defense. There's no way I'm taking that. I picked against the Eagles last week. It was an unbelievable pick outside of a kicker. I'm with him this week.
Okay, I love Baker in this situation.
I do too.
I love 3.5 at home with Baker Mayfield and a chip on his shoulder.
Big game Baker?
He's the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're 2-0 as of, 4 p.m. Let's move on to the 4 o'clock games, Alice brother. Ravens -2.5 at the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The toughest game of the year. Naturally, it's ours.
Go back to him. Go back to the well. Go back to the well.
Where are we at here?
Well, because the last couple of weeks we've taken both teams and they've jammed us up both times.
Right.
So either way, we're going back to the well. But where are we going to go? But I truly believe that the Kansas City Chiefs have to get it going at some point here. And you're giving me Mahomes as a home dog. You got to take the points. And this Baltimore Ravens defense has been horrendous. They give up 96 points in 3 games. No Madubuike, which is massive. The big hole on their defensive line. And I just think overall, the Chiefs have been and will be better in the trenches. And ultimately, if you can beat the Baltimore Ravens in the trenches, which they got beat pretty bad this past
Detroit
weekend.
smacked them around.
Absolutely. I think the KC could do the same. They've had an extra day to prepare with the short week for Baltimore.
They're getting Xavier Worthy back.
Xavier Worthy's back.
There's
I
no
like
respect
the Chiefs.
for the Ravens. No respect for the Ravens.
Lock it in.
I
love taking points.
This is crazy.
You can't listen. The Eagles went in there. We're getting points with the Chiefs. We went to that well. It was dry. This one, it's going to be a waterfall, man. You're getting points with Mahomes at home when he's desperate.
These Ravens got bullied last week. They got slapped around.
And it's going to happen again.
You think they're going to get slapped around again 2 weeks in a row?
Chiefs
They're
defense
legitimate contenders.
Chiefs defense has been elite.
It's been
elite.
I'll give you guys Chiefs defense, but the idea that you're going to compare the Lions offense right now and the Chiefs offense, not even right now, the last year and a half, you guys are out of your mind with that. Give me an actual reason. Give me an actual, concrete reason why you're doing it. Don't just 15. Lie to us.
He wears number 15.
Okay.
He wears number 15.
Have some professionalism.
All right, 3-0 moving in to the nightcap for Hazenbro. You guys are on this one. Packers -6.5 at the Cowboys. This is the layup of all layups. Go ahead.
So this is what gets so strange for me is I'm taking the Packers, but where I get really scared here is that it's only 6.5.
I know.
I'm
weird.
What am I missing? What am I missing? If it was 9.5, even 10, I would still probably consider taking the Packers. So now I'm on edge with this pick. It's so uncomfortable for me to take the Pack at this line. It seems so obvious that I almost want to go the other way.
It's the Browns.
Something is very strange.
Your explanation is
trap game.
Yeah, you lose to the Browns, the public changes their mind quickly. It's a fickle public. You lose to the Browns, it freaks people out. Micah Parsons is not getting any acknowledgement from Jerry Jones.
None. Tribute video for Micah Parsons.
That guy is going to be Lawrence Taylor in 1987. He is going to be. He's going to be killing guys on Sunday night.
I agree. He's going to be on fire. And the next thing too, the Packers offense, which has looked great week 1 and 2. were horrendous last week. They're going up against a juvenile college-level defense in the Cowboys. You got to figure they're just like salivating at that. I'm like looking at this thing, and I'm like, what am I missing? I'm like, is Jordan Love not playing? Like, what am I missing?
He's playing. I believe the last time they were in this building was the wild card game when they hung like 49 on the Cowboys, too.
I'm very surprised.
It seems so obvious
line.
that I'm nervous. Yeah,
Okay.
it seems so obvious that I'm nervous about it.
No CD either. I'm pretty sure CD has practiced all week. Like, CD's probably not going to play. Like, so who's going to put up points? How are they going to stop the Packers, and how are they going to put up points on the Packers? I don't understand this line.
Yeah.
It's a gift to you guys, an absolute gift.
It's a Doogie layup.
It's insane.
The Doogie layup. All right, there you go. Picks are in. Hazenbro are on the Vikings and the Chiefs. Owen Wilson are on the Eagles and the Packers. Best of luck to Owen Wilson. Hazenbro, we shall fly high, baby. This is going to be an immaculate Sunday. Cannot wait for it. I think we might have a doubleheader on Monday night, too.
We do.
This could be a huge
Big weekend. Big
Massive
weekend.
week.
massive turning point for the whole season. All right, boys, good stuff. Mike Johnson coming up in 15. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4. Melanin Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza.
Yeah, boys. Hey, did you see the text from Joe from the Bridge? How many goalies have played for the Leafs since James Reimer first got to Toronto?
How many?
23 goalies. I counted the Rangers in one of the commercial breaks. 15 for the Rangers.
That's surprising, that many for the Rangers.
I was just thinking the same thing because you're like, it was just Marty Biron and the King, and then it went into like Georgiev and Shesterkin, right? And then Georgiev left, but there was like some Louis Domingue played a game here and there. Like there was some, Jonathan Quick. It adds up, but 23 is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's backups and stuff like that. It's Shesterkin's been the guy, where here it's been, not as much. I mean, nobody's really stood out. That's
not the best.
thing.
Freddie Anderson for 3 or 4 years, but even that, Freddie didn't play a ton of games.
Yeah.
Like
Samsonov. We forgot about the Samsonov era.
Samsonov was here. That's right.
Matt Murray.
The Matt Murray era. That could be the role that James Reimer is going to play now if they decide to sign him. More on that with Mike Johnson, Sasha Barkov getting hurt. Saw Rory McIlroy flipping the bird to the crowd down at Bethpage, so it's getting spicy at the Ryder Cup. Get you an update on that. Jays Rays tonight. The magic number is down to 3. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
It's Mail It In Friday.
The plant called and said if you don't come in tomorrow, don't bother coming in Monday.
Woohoo! 4-day weekend.
This is Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Mike Johnson coming up here in a few moments, and got Dear Hazy B a little bit later in the hour. And some big news in the NHL, including the Leafs with a win last night. It's preseason, but that fourth line looked good. Scott Laughton looked really good. Steven Lorentz looked good. Easton Cowan looked good again.
Yeah.
And Craig Berube, again, he's not going to say he's making the team. He's definitely making the team. They're trying to be careful. He's a young guy, but he looked pretty good, and that line looked really good last night.
Yeah, they're putting him in a good spot, Hayes, right? Like, because they're putting him with two guys that are pretty predictable, dependable, and there's comfort in that if you're a young guy. Like, no one's asking you to do too much. No one's asking you to have to play with Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes. That's complex. That's hard, right? But you kind of fly with two, call them veteran guys that know what they're doing and aren't gonna put you in bad spots. It's a nice way to work the young guy, into feeling comfortable out there and put him in a spot to succeed.
Yeah, and it's lesser responsibility, but it also gives that line a little bit of a different look. We know what Laughton and Lawrence are capable of. They're fourth line guys, straight line guys, have a little bit of skill here or there. You put a guy that is creative, who has, something to prove because he's trying to be an everyday NHLer. It's just a different look. Now, it could be short-term or not, but I think they are giving him every opportunity to make this team. What it does say to me is Craig Berube is trying to get him into a place where he's comfortable, and he could bleed him into the lineup lower, and then maybe it's second power play here or there. But it also, to me, spells that there's somebody else on the team. I can't name the name because I don't know, that might be in trouble. That they
we could figure that out pretty quickly. Like, it's not hard to look at the depth chart and say, Cowan or Robertson or, Lawton or Kampf. And I think, last night, there's definitely, a battle for a roster spot, if you want to call it that, between Lawton and Kampf. And going into that game or going into this camp, you're like, I want to see Scott Lawton look way better than David Kampf because they paid a king's ransom to get him, obviously spent the assets, and you're like, it has to look like a significant upgrade over David Kampf. I can honestly say that looked like the case last night. Scott Lawton looked better than Kampf. Easton Cowan looked like he belongs. Steven Lorentz looks like a guy where you want to keep him in the lineup. You don't want to not have him in the lineup. So I think the guys that had to have good nights last night, Matthias Michelli had another good night. The guys that needed to have good nights had good nights.
Well, and how about my joke? It fell flat, Hayes. I don't know if you saw it. I was like,
Mitch Michelli.
Yeah, I called him Mitch Michelli as a joke.
Wow,
and I was like, he's got 4 assists in 2 games, right? He's put up some points. So I go Mitch Michelli, and I look over at Drager, and it's just like wah wah wah.
Wow, you see the pass Mitch Marner made to Eichel last night?
That's Matthias Marner.
Matthias Marner made a pretty crafty little backhand sauce through the middle of the ice, and Eichel ripped it home. And Eichel said during the intermission, there's very few guys on the planet that can make that pass. Mitch is out there doing the same routine he did in Toronto and his little figure skating in the pregame. But that's a brilliant vision, brilliant pass. That's Mitch Marner in a nutshell last night. That's what he's going to do. He's going to do that all throughout the regular season. Yeah. Will he do it in the playoffs in Vegas? He'll have to prove he can do that. He'll have to prove that he will elevate his game and be different in the playoffs than he was here in Toronto. But I have no doubt in Vegas during the regular season, he'll stay healthy. He will be a brilliant playmaker. He will put up a ton of points, and they'll win a lot of games.
Vegas is so interesting out there because has Mitch Marner ever had a Mark Stone, in the lineup insulating him? He's had a William Nylander, but very different players. And with the loss of Alex Pietrangelo, that's going to be huge. Maybe we're not talking about that enough, but that would be just the most Toronto thing, to ever happen. More than Bozak winning a cup or Kessel winning a cup or anyone who went on and had success. Mitch Marner leaving Toronto and then immediately winning a Stanley Cup with Vegas. That would be just the I don't know, the cherry on top to that whole narrative that's happened. Feels like for every year it was happening. Basically, someone who had left had won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, listen, they're a good team. Let's not put the cart before the horse, but they are a good team. We knew Vegas was a good team before Marner arrived, but does he make them a better team offensively? Absolutely. But
offensively, he does.
You're right,
for sure, and defensively, he's a great all-around forward.
But Pietrangelo,
although now Petrangelo's saying, hey, maybe I can return. Hey, all of a sudden, maybe for game 1.
I did see that little sniff out there the other day.
Game 1.
Just working on my health, all of that type of stuff. But, I still think their goaltending is adequate. Aiden Hill's had an up and down. He wins the cup, but as a starter, he's kind of been just okay.
Yep.
He's been the James Reimer that you can bring in Johnny on, but there's lots of things going on there still, and the jury's still out on Vegas.
I agree with you
for sure.
All right, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline here is our TSN hockey analyst, Mike Johnson. What an assist last night. Noodles is calling him Matthias Marner. And Mitch Michelli, because Mitch Michelli was lighting up the Bell Center last night, but that's Marner in a nutshell. A backhand sauce, unbelievable vision, unbelievable touch to Eichel, and I guess we're going to see that a lot this year.
Yeah, but you can't be upset about it or surprised by it or bothered by it.
He's going to keep playing.
That's what he does. He's a good player. He's better than a good player. He's a great player. And so there'll be many moments where you watch boy, be nice if that was in Toronto, or remember when he did that for Toronto. But the reality is he's not going to. So it's like he's gone, and he's going to do good things. And winning a cup seems a little bit premature, but maybe the most Toronto thing ever would be to have the best team and the best opportunity and then lose in a heartbreak in the second round in games 5 and 7, and then have that same team be loaded for the next year. Toronto's not quite as good, and all of a sudden guys are falling left and right injured. The sort of thing that the league would be hoping that, the wear and tear would add up on Florida, and all of a sudden, Tkachuk's out for half a year, Barkov's out for maybe the whole year or whatever it might be. That's also a Toronto thing, because Toronto's best team was probably last year.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I think people are already losing their minds. I think about the Barkov injury, talking about how Chicago's got their first round pick. It's going to be another great pick. Did we not learn how deep the Florida Panthers are? I get it. Sasha Barkov's unbelievable player. Anton Liddell's not truly a third line center. He's going to play more and he's going to do well. How worried are you about the decline of the Florida Panthers now without Barkov?
I mean, Frankie, I'm pretty worried. I'm not going to lie to you. Of course, they're going to be good still. But what makes Florida great and what makes them so hard in the playoffs is they can go Barkov, Bennett, Lundell. And you're right, Lundell is better than a third-line center. But what makes him great on Florida is he's the third-line center. He's better than everyone else's third-line center. You put him at the number 1, and he's still very good, and he'll probably get 65, 70 points this year. But he's not Barkov. And then whoever's playing their third line would have been the fourth line guy, that Luke Cunnin. Whoever moves up is nowhere near what Lundell was. Is that trickle up or down effect that makes them so different? And even the temperament, you guys have been around that Florida team enough. And they thrive on things being a little chaotic, a little bit out of control at times. But the one guy who is their even keel steadier is Barkov. And he's such an important player. So, yeah, they'll be good. If without him, I still think they'll make the playoffs. But you put them into a playoff series, no Barkov, and it's different. And they wouldn't be the cup favorite, and I would imagine they won't win a cup. Now, they might not even win a cup with him, but it is a monstrous. And you got to feel for Barkov. Anyone like this, like Olympics this year, that's gone. Team Finland, their best player or one of their best players, that's gone. It's just a brutal, brutal timing. But it completely changed the complexion of that team in Florida, at least for the regular season, if that's for how long he's gone for.
Yeah, and we haven't gotten the complete update yet on whether or not he could return for the playoffs or if he's done for the year, because they're going to wait until they get through surgery and reassess. But there is a chance that he's done for the whole season, which means, again, he can't return for the playoffs. But that would open up the opportunity for them to use the full cap space to go out there and get somebody else. Now, they've used a lot of assets in the past couple of years. And sure, some guys love going to Florida. Not everyone wants to go to Florida. I agree with your hesitation here, or if that, or apprehension in terms of what Florida's going to do, because they've been to 3 straight Cup finals. Tkachuk's out for a while. He's out for a while. Bobrovsky's 37 years old. Yes, if Tkachuk's out till January and Barkov's out, that's 2 of your top 6, and those are your 2 leaders. Those are the guys that represent this team. One's the captain in Barkov. He's the silent assassin, but by all accounts, he leads by example, and everyone follows suit. And Tkachuk, everyone knows the second he arrived, it changed the whole complexion of that team. Both of those guys are done. Who knows what Tkachuk looks like when he returns? Again, Bobrovsky is not a young guy. They played a ton of hockey. They got to make the playoffs first. This is a massive, massive change for the Panthers. And it felt to me like I picked them to win the Cup 2 weeks ago, presuming everyone would be healthy and all that, because, again, I didn't see who else improved enough that I thought could knock them off the block. But this is huge. This is a massive, massive loss for them. And if he's done for the playoffs too, I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they can win. I don't think you can win 3 straight years. I think it's very difficult to do it, period. Again, I thought they probably could with everyone healthy. You take Barkov out, changes everything.
So, I brought this up, and Hayes was going to drive to my house and choke me out for it. But, Bill Zito. He's not going to sit idly. If he loses Barkov for the season and they've got money to spend, he's going to be proactive. And I will say this. I don't think it makes Florida team at the bottom. What I do think is they've come back to the group with the absence of Barkov. Still a good team, but not, again, you miss an elite player, your team is missing, a huge dynamic of it. But what if there's a guy available for a trade on a team that's not going to make the playoffs?
Does he wear number 87? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, that's where Hayes attacked me for it, but I said,
that would be sick. That would be sickening.
Brad Marchand, keep in mind, we didn't think Brad Marchand was going to end up in Florida. We didn't think all three of those guys were going to sign there. They signed there. This team always pulls a rabbit out of the hat. That's one thing I will not do is bet against Bill Zito and his group and how creative they can be. So if Barkov is a massive loss, which is, and if he's gone for completely the full season, I think everything's on the table for that organization to keep it rolling. What do you make of that, John?
Of course. They will be bold. They will be aggressive. They will mortgage the future. They do whatever they have to try to replace that guy. I mean, the fact is not many people can replace him. And also, isn't the salary cap in place for the playoffs this year? Isn't that a thing this
I think
season?
It kicks in next year for the new CBA.
Just next year?
I think. Okay. I don't know that for sure. But the new CBA kicks in next year. I know that.
No, I know, but didn't they roll some of that stuff in early?
They might have.
One of the things they rolled in early. Someone check on that, because if they did, then you can't bring in Barkov late for this $10 million extra and then add him to a guy you already replaced him with. So depending, but yeah, they'll be aggressive, but it's hard and it's going to rob their depth elsewhere. Maybe cost them Samoskevich and other young players, and it just changes them. And how many guys are as good as Barkov? Hardly any, right? So even Sid might be the only guy, but most guys will not be as good, even if you try to replace them.
Yeah. So you're going to have to go poor man's version. Do you take a swing at Evgeny Malkin? Not the same player, nowhere near the same player, but expiring contract, and you're like, we need a body who can give us some skill. And the salary cap is coming in this year. The new CBA starts after, but they could roll this in early, and I think there was an appetite between the teams and the GMs to do it early. So they're going to have to be $95.5 million this year. You're playing roster, right?
Cap compliant in the playoffs. Yeah.
No, you can go over by 10 if he's not returning, but you can't add him to the team without making that game playing roster of the playoffs cap compliant. So if they're going to add $10 million in, you'd have to take $10 million out, which is Seth Jones or whatever. You know what I mean?
And it is like
you can't load up with everybody.
Going to be, and the 20 players that are in your lineup have to be $95.5 million. So not your 23-man roster. So you get a little wiggle room that way.
Which, to tie it into Toronto, that will be the end of the high price backup. If you got a backup making $4 million, why would you dress him? Just dress him for a guy who makes $800,000, and now you can, add a $3.5 million player to go over that number. I guess it's a bit of a risk if the starter can't finish the game, but I would think if you're Vancouver, Kevin Lankinen makes what, 4.5, 4.25?
Yeah.
You can take him out of the dressing roster, still on your team, still available if you need a starter. Just don't dress him in the game because he's not going to play anyways. And that would be one sort of loophole that I'm sure teams will expose very quickly. And you get a veteran like James Reimer in there on a league minimum. Hazy, we talked this morning.
Yes.
We talked this morning about the Leafs goalie situation. And I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. There's always veteran guys on waivers. You can grab somebody, cheaper. And Marty Biron's like Johan Kakkonen, whatever. We didn't bring up James Reimer. But clearly, Toronto was thinking the same things we were thinking, where let's get a guy in. And, obviously Toronto is concerned with what's going on with Joseph Woll on a human level, of course, but on a practical level of when he will be ready to play. Because the only thing that's changed since the start of camp has been Joseph Woll has left for the personal reason that he's left. And that if they were 100% sure he'd back tomorrow, they wouldn't have done this with James Reimer. Otherwise, they would have done it before camp started. So there's obviously a bit of uncertainty there, and we hope Joseph Woll is okay and, whatever he's going through, he gets through. But they're clearly making some plans in case he's not back soon. Yeah. And whether it's Reimer or whether it's whatever other veteran going around the league, that tells you a little bit something about how confident Toronto is that this will be resolved with Joseph Woll in the very short term.
Yes. And you have to, because if there is uncertainty and it's going to be up to Joseph Wall, you've got it. Maybe Hildebe's the guy. Maybe he is.
Right.
And maybe over the next week and a half, he proves that he's the guy. He looked pretty good last night.
Yeah.
But Reimer, he wants to keep playing. He's a reliable veteran that I think is somewhat predictable. How much game he has left, I don't know. Maybe Noodles, you would have a better take on this than the four of us or the three of us. How much do you need him? Right? Like if you feel like Wall's going to return in November or December, you're probably looking at 2 or 3 starts. Right. Presuming Stolarz is healthy, what's the better option, Reimer or Hildeby or someone else?
I think it's Hildeby that they're going to give a pathway to. Johnny, and the only reason why I thought it was a smart move by Tree not grabbing somebody off waivers who has a contract already, because if you can't get rid of that contract, say Joseph Wall comes back next week, all of a sudden now you got a log jam, you got to get him. Say you put that player back on waivers and he doesn't get claimed, you got to put him with the Marlies, and that messes with Hildeby's progression to be your number 3, to play a lot this year. They had a 3-headed monster down in the minors last year with the Marlies, and I think that hurt Hildeby because you had Murray into Hildeby into the Russian, I call him AA, because I can't pronounce his name. But they had too much, 2 nets and 3 goaltenders. So I think you need to be cognizant of Hildeby's pathway here. And that's why a PTO makes way more sense, that if you get Reimer and you give Hildeby maybe 1 or 2 starts, say Wool's not back till November, then you can have Reimer play with the Marlies and sign a deal with him and then make that go away at some point. Like, to me, there's some more flexibility.
When can you – I really don't have that. Again, that's coming up, the practice goalie. I'm like, you could just have Reimer be the practice goalie. Then if you need him, you just sign him to a contract. But again, I think that actually is kicking in next year. That's not kicking in this year.
That's next year. Yeah.
These are the things they're worrying about, And the other part about this conversation is, while we all acknowledge that the Leafs are fine with Stolarz playing because he's great, he hasn't – do you want him playing 16 of the first 21 games? No. Absolutely not. You want him playing 12 of 21 games. Like, you don't want to ride him into the ground early, because I think he's a guy, given his track record, you have to pace him and how much you're going to play, regardless of who his backups is. So they are in a position that I think they need a guy that they can trust more 40% of the games until Joseph Wall's back, and then they can sort it out from there. Yeah.
You like what you see from Easton Cowan? You feel like he's got an inside track. He's building a little cohesion with Lawrence and Lawton. Like, how do you see that playing out?
Best fourth line in the league last night. Best fourth line in the league.
It's the new grind line from Detroit. It's the identity line from the Islanders. They're the best fourth line in the league. Here we go. You know what? So, Frankie, if we're going strictly on merit, which is not how the NHL works, if it's just who has played best that deserves to go there, then I do like Easton Cowan's chances. He's been really good, and they haven't played top-flight opponents where the concern for Cowan is in that role against top teams. If he's only playing 8 or 9 minutes a game, will he be effective? Will he be able to be physical? Will he be able to be energetic in that role? He's showing that he can play with those guys, and they can make plays. And I think Scott Lawton was traded for a first-round pick. He's not supposed to be just the fourth-line guy you hide for 7 minutes. He's supposed to play and be a good player. So maybe Cowan brings some of that out, and Lawton plus Lorentz brings what he brings. It is been a good fit. And when you get around the guys on the Leafs organization, management, coaching staff, they're all singing Easton Cowan's praises without even being prompted, to the point where they see it. They believe it. They're not just trying to sell him. They believe it. But the bigger issue, whether or not he stays there, Frankie, David Camp, Nick Robertson, Calle Yarncroke, and the lesser extent Michael Pezzetta. That's a fifth line and a sixth line of guys who are on one-way deals that do require waivers. And until they sort out what they want to do with those guys, whether it's send them to the minors, risk losing them, whatever, then the path of least resistance is to put Cowan in the minors. And it happens. We see it around the league all the time. Guys get sent down, even though they don't deserve to, but because they're the easiest target to do so. And I would be concerned if I'm Easton Cowan. It's not about how he's playing, but just the administrative part of the game that won't have him start because there's just too many bodies here for Toronto.
Do you remember, like, you just made me laugh, and I don't know why. Do you remember that whole stupid free Jake Gardner nonsense that went on, like when they sent Gardner down to like get some games with the Marlies to play, and there was like a hashtag and people were going crazy over
I
it.
only remember Free Frankie Corrado. That's all I remember.
Yeah, I was going to
Free
say,
Frankie.
I don't know anything about those types of movements.
I
don't know anything
remember
about
I was
those.
spearheading that. I was spearheading Free Frankie.
But there was.
I think it was Gardner's agent that was doing that.
It was Ben
Yes,
Hankerson.
it
I
was.
think,
Yes.
did that.
It was
Yes.
his agent that was doing that.
But it caught fire. I do remember Free Frankie, but that was a different reason. But like, it was just. I was like, I don't know why I'm laughing about it. Maybe it's nostalgia because James Reimer's all of a sudden back. Like that's what it is.
Well,
you're like,
right.
it stirred your memory of to like when this guy was around. This is the type of nonsense that was going on.
And that's because the team wasn't any good. The difference now is the team's good. Like the fan base is well aware of what the team expectation is, how veteran they are, and the fans aren't as desperate for a young player. Whereas back then, that's what it was. You were desperate for some sort of sense of a future player that was going to help with this team. So, we'll see what happens with Reimer. He's here on a tryout. We'll see what it means in terms of Joseph Woll and his future. Johnny, you and I were on the Top 50 show. Yeah, go ahead.
If Wall doesn't come back before the end of camp, Reimer signs. He signs and starts.
Yeah.
That probably
NHL.
makes
He'll sign for
sense.
league minimum, so they can get rid of him. And if he doesn't want to report, like it can be one of those deals where I don't want to go to the Marlies or we need other, and you just go home and get paid.
Yeah,
it'll
be under the
sort
threshold.
of an understanding there.
Yes, under the
Yes,
threshold
the
of you can
sinkable
bury
threshold.
it and it doesn't count against your cap.
Keep in mind, though, it's not like he has to drive to Binghamton to play in the minors. He just goes to a different arena in the same city that he lived in for 6 years before.
Yeah,
and he might be fine with that. Johnny, Top 50 show this morning. It went off without a hitch. Brilliant stuff. Sports Emmy stuff for you, myself, Marty Baron. What McDavid at number 1. We revealed the top 10. McDavid at number 1, not surprisingly. What is interesting is Connor Hellebuck won the Hart and the Vezina. He was at 9. Nikita Kucherov won the Ted Lindsay. That's the players voting on who was the best player last year. He's at 5. Like, how did we get here? How did we get here where the league MVP is 9 and the Ted Lindsay winner's at 5? I'm not surprised, and I got to admit the top 4 is exactly how I had it, too, in my voting. So I guess I'm yelling at myself or poking at myself here. But, like, is that just a lock, the top 4, or – is there a chance that any of the guys from 5 through 10 could break through into the top 4?
I think the easier answer is Hellebuck. We know he was incredible, historically great season, but it's on the full body of work. And unfortunately for him, the playoffs, not only this year, but probably for the past couple of years, have impacted what guys think of him as far as the greatest in the game. When you got McDavid, getting to the final 2 years in a row and winning Conn Smythe on a losing team, it's different than how you feel about Hellebuck in the biggest moment. So that's why he's where he is. He's the best goalie, has not been great in the playoffs. The Kucherov one is interesting. I think offensively, he is right there with all those guys. I just think the fact that he's a winger, the fact that Tampa hasn't had much as far as deep runs lately either, probably impacts him. And as far as chance of guys going to that top 5, it's Barkov would have been a guy that, he puts up 90 points and takes him deep. Could he bump Cale Makar? Could he bump Kucherov? He could. And the other guy he could go there is a guy who was just there. It's Austin Matthews. He's been in the top 5 before. He's been ahead of those guys before. If he is healthy, if he scores 55 goals and gets 100 points and Toronto's good again, then Austin would be the other guy, I think, in that list that would slide up there. I think Kucherov and Pasternak are maybe capped as scoring wingers, great scoring wingers at that 5 spot behind those other 3 defensemen and Cale Makar. And maybe Quinn Hughes. You know what? Quinn Hughes is a sick player, such a good player. And if he's healthy and puts up 95, 100 points, then he might be able to slide in there as well.
One more for you. I think that if Kirill Kaprizov was able to put together 82 game seasons, we're talking big numbers. Like, he's always on pace for huge numbers, but he plays 41. He plays 67, right? Like, that's you forget that you don't get him for half the year sometimes.
Scoring winger, though. Yeah. Scoring winger. That's the question.
But if his best season, he might get, I don't know. I don't know, even with it, if he gets 50 goals and 120 points, if he gets ahead of any of those 3 forwards or Makar. Like he scoring winger is
sure.
just sort of capped as the fifth guy, I think, right now until something else happens by the nature of the position.
I think that makes sense. Centers and defensemen, like number one center, number one defenseman, probably should be at the top of the list. And if you're an Oiler fan or an Avalanche fan, you're pretty lucky. You have two guys in the top four.
Yeah,
how about
pretty incredible?
How about Tampa having 6 guys on the list?
Yeah, they're
That's
a good team,
impressive.
pretty deep team, and 16 Americans.
Also watching training camp right now. Noodles,
right?
Vasilevsky not playing.
No, I've been tracking that. Yeah,
as those guys get older, it's hard. It's hard to keep being at that level.
16 Americans, 14 Canadians on the list. That's interesting. That's probably worthy of diving into again at some point. So the top 50 list has officially been revealed by TSN. You can find it at tsn.ca. I think the top 50 show is going to replay tonight. Might be worthy of checking out.
Probably should play all
is.
weekend, to be honest with you.
Did you sneak in any hot takes, Hayes?
All weekend.
Right. Did you, instead of teeing the boys up, did you
I
throw
had
in a
no
little
time
take
to
here
do
and there?
nothing. I had no time to do anything. I was basically Ron Burgundy. I wanted to. I was desperately trying. Like I was like so eager to get in, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. All right, Johnny.
Put a leash on him.
Stuff, buddy. Put a leash on me. That's
all right, boys.
We finally did it.
Have a good
First
weekend.
time in a long time. Have a great weekend. There's Mike Johnson joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Get in and go where adventure takes you in a new 2025 Tacoma from Maple Toyota near Canada's Wonderland in the Maple Auto Mall. Visit mapletoyota.com. All right, dear Hazy B coming up. Jays Rays tracking the Ryder Cup. We'll get to that next.
Sunday on TSN 1050. A full slate of NFL matchups starting bright and early with Vikings Steelers from Ireland, followed by Eagles Bucks. Plus a big afternoon tilt between the Ravens and Chiefs. Coverage starts at 9:30 a.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Mail It In Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. So we get the CFL going this weekend. We got the NFL going this weekend. We got the Ryder Cup with the Europeans. They are in a very good position.
Yes, they are.
Scotty Scheffler and his partner have been pumped twice. Scotty's 0 for 2. Now, it's day one, but that's the number one player in the world, Captain America. That's the guy everyone's leaning on. Beth Page, it's go time. The guy was crying over in Rome 2 years ago, and he's out there, and he's getting dummied. It was Sepp Straka and John Rahm that beat Scheffler and Spawn 3-2 today.
Dude, how about that for John Rahm? Like, he kind of fell off the face of the earth. He showed up at the majors. Like, I don't know. He didn't do anything spectacular at any of the majors this year. Did he? Did I miss something? Like, I don't think he did. And then all of a sudden now he's at the Ryder Cup and he's rolling. Rolled this morning, rolled again this afternoon. He's crazy. Like, this is a different thing, though, right? Because the whole season goes, everyone's in a groove. Like, you got your routine. And then this is at the end. There's been so much time off. Like, I don't know. This is truly such a one-off experience. It feels like
it's very different. It's a very
Scotty's
different
not
tournament.
He's not the only top guy, to be dominant throughout the whole season and then struggle at the Ryder Cup. Like that's
Tiger had that reputation. Historically, he was terrible at the Ryder Cup, and especially as a teammate, like in foursomes and four-ball, he just couldn't do it, or his partner couldn't step up when need be. So Scheffler's going to play in all 5 matches. He's going twice tomorrow, and then he's going to go as a single on Sunday. But him being 0-2 is significant. And DeChambeau's still out in the course, and you got Donald Trump's there. I'm sure he's gone by now, but the Americans have got to find a way to pick up some points as they come down the stretch. But the crowds look great. Roy McIlroy was, flipping the bird to someone down there. It's getting a little bit hectic.
Is that interaction like on film or anything? We saw it, but what was the nature?
I don't know
of why
what. Well, obviously he got chirped. Like obviously a fan said something to him and continues to say something. And the nature of this is fans can walk with you.
Yeah.
And if you're walking through the ropes and you've got a Happy Gilmore situation where the guys
I'll see you in the parking lot.
or nice shot, jackass, and the guy's just following him around the whole time. You probably started in the morning. Do you know how aggravating that would be if you were in the morning and the afternoon and some guy from Brooklyn or the Bronx is just yelling at you for hours? Eventually, everyone's going to snap.
Yeah.
But the Europeans are in a pretty good spot. Really good spot right now.
Well,
so you got that this weekend, and then you got the Jays and Rays. And the magic number is 3. Shane Bieber on the mound tonight. This is why you go to get him. I know the story has been the bats, and it continues tonight. They're going to need offense. I saw Keegan Matheson post a video earlier today that the first guy that showed up and was in the cage was Vladdy Jr., and he's working through things. And he just looks like he's overthinking everything. Yeah. Not making excuses for him because you can't. He's got to play way better. He's got to be way more productive.
Yes.
But it's not an effort issue. It's that he just can't do it right now.
Execution.
He cannot do it. And even last night, he runs out a single. Always talks about it. When you're praying to the skies after a single, you're in a dark place. Exactly. And that's what Vladdy was doing last night.
And that was an error, right? Like he got the guy got charged for an error on Vladdy getting a base. I guess like it can change so quick, but sometimes it feels like that little transition can take forever, right? Like you're either playing well or you're not, but the time in between to actually get yourself to where you're seeing it and you're confident, like it's usually not 3 games. But it's got to happen quick for him.
Listen, what they did is last night they shrunk the games to 3. Right, because it's the Yankees won, they won, so now magic number's 3. You got to, if you can win tonight and the Yankees win, you shrink it to 2. Like that's what you really need to do. But you won, maybe that gives them a little bit of like, hey, the monkey off our back here. Let's go and have a great series here.
Well, I thought that after they won on Sunday against Kansas City. I was thinking the same thing. Bats alive, they clinched, they have a party, day off, they're going to come back and be rocking, and that just simply didn't happen. So,
I mean, one of the games you ran into Crochet, so that's a tough bounce, but it's a tough bounce, but that's also the reality of where they're headed, Hayes and Noodles, right? Like you're going to get stud ace stuff that you're going to have to work through. So it's unforgiving if the bats are cold, but a guy like Crochet. You got to get hits on a guy like that, or because it can be over way too quick.
Guess what's coming in the playoffs? You're not playing against a 5th starter in the playoffs. No. You're going to be up against Crochet or Fried or Heel. Whoever it is, you're going to play a team where they are going to set up Tarek Skubal waiting for you, and you're probably going to play him twice. So there's no easy path. And you're right, Crochet is a beast, and he's likely going to finish second in the Cy Young in the American League behind Skubal.
Yeah.
But that's who you're going to play against. So the bats have got to come alive at some point. And I think he went 8 innings the other night, which is, in the modern era, basically a complete game.
It's monstrous stuff.
It is.
You know what? The Jays' rotation on name value and what everyone could be, it's scary. Like if you're the opposition and you looked at the Toronto Blue Jays rotation, you're like, these guys can set up Gausman, Scherzer, Bieber. You look at it and you're like, that's difficult. Like that's ace-like stuff 3 nights in a row. But Scherzer's got to get there. Bieber's got to have it. Gausman, I don't have worries about generally. But the Jays, when everything's going well, it's not just one guy they can throw at you.
No, and that's why you have Bieber tonight. Interestingly enough, you have you Savage tomorrow. You've got Gausman. You're right, based on name value. And when everything was clicking for this team, when the bats were alive and the rotation was alive, they were all doing it. It was a 5-man rotation every single night.
Yeah.
And Eric Lauer gave them a lot last night out of the bullpen. That's big.
That's right.
And that's going to be substantial. You're going to need everybody. Barrios on the IL, Bassett on the IL. But it's not the arms I'm concerned about. I'm not worried about Bieber tonight. I'm not worried about Hoffman, who got hit a little bit in the 9th last night. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the bats. What is the offense going to look like?
Yeah, but you will be worried if it's a Scherzer and you give up 3 in the first, and that leads into your point, though, about how do we overcome that deficit? Because August Blue Jays, they were doing that. Like we gave up 3, so be it. Off we go. Yeah. And let's manufacture it.
Exactly.
And it's just that's not really happening.
August
right now.
feels a long, long ways away. It was a long, long ways away. Yet they have 91 wins, and they're going to the playoffs. Regardless of what happens this weekend, they are playing playoff games.
Well, think about that, though. Like, there's exciting games coming. No matter, like, they win the AL East or they don't, like, there's going to be some really exciting baseball happening. And
at the Rogers Center, too. With that win last night, it pretty much sets up if they end up in the wild card, they're going to play those 2 or 3 games at home.
And to put perspective on it, like last year, they were so bad, and no one saw this coming. So, like, looking at it from the outside perspective, like, all very good stuff. It's just that when they have such a stranglehold on the AL East and you start talking about is World Series on the table and then this stuff starts to happen, you're like, man, it kind of sours something that is really, really great.
Minus 1250 on FanDuel to win the AL East 11 days ago. Minus 1250.
What is it today? What is it?
I have not looked at the odds. They're favored to win tonight. I believe they're still favored because they have that tiebreak, but it's real close to a pick'em.
Yeah.
It's very close to a pick'em.
Tampa plays them hard.
They play them tough.
At Hauser. Is it Hauser that's pitching tonight for Tampa?
They play them tough.
Yeah.
But you've outside of Bichette, you've got your lineup available. Santander's back, and you got Varsho in center field, and this is what we need to see starting tonight. So you got Springer DHing leading off tonight. Lucas playing right field. Into Vladdy, Barger hitting cleanup. Kirk, Varsho, Santander, Clement, Jimenez.
You got to assume the Yankees are winning. Assume the Yankees are winning, and you take care of your own backyard, and everything's okay.
You might have
Not
to
gonna
sweep.
Be easy.
You might have to sweep Tampa.
Yeah.
You might, but you're at home. You might have to sweep them starting tonight. All right, best bets coming up on this game. We'll get to some Dear Hazy B as well. Overdrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Sunday on TSN 1050, Micah Parsons makes his return to Dallas as the Green Bay Packers take on the Dallas Cowboys. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Now he's thinking about me every night. Oh, is it that sweet? I guess so.
All right, best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I'm on the under tonight. Jay's offense, I just can't rely on it based on what I've seen the last 2 weeks. And the Rays offense, they're a chippy team, but I don't expect an explosive offensive night. So I think both starters are going to pitch well. I'm on the under, and Shane Bieber over 6.5 strikeouts. I think this is why you get Bieber. Cy Young winner, Friday night, Dome open, massive game. Bieber shows up. I think the Jays are going to win tonight. I think it'll be like a 4-2 win. So Bieber over 6.5 and under. That's your plays for the day. Best bets powered by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today and find thousands of ways to play. Please play responsibly, 18 plus and physically located in Ontario. Shout out to the Canadian women's rugby team too, right? Going for gold over there.
Yep.
Unbelievable
Big
run.
stuff over there.
Unbelievable. TSN's been doing a phenomenal job with that as well. You can catch that, of course, tomorrow. Cannot wait. And that just adds to what we have this weekend. We got hockey, we got football, we got baseball, we got golf, we got rugby. What else do we have?
It's a couching weekend.
Oh, the definition of a couching weekend. And I was supposed to be on the ice early tomorrow morning.
Oh, yeah?
Early. And my youngest broke her wrist recently, so she's been in a cast.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's 2 casts for her. She's 6 years old. She had 2 casts already.
She's she's gritty one, right?
She's a firecracker.
Oh, yeah. We're shaking hands into the fracture clinic. Hey, how you doing? Great to see you again. What's going on? How you doing? Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah.
So I'm on the ice, and I got the coach sent me an email or sent me a text. She said, sleep in tomorrow. Don't worry about it. I'll see you Sunday. I said, you're a legend.
Nice.
Wow.
You're such a legend.
Nice.
What is that like? Is that like this guy's just going to get in the way or something?
Yeah, because I was out there last weekend. We had the evaluation skates, and I was right in the mix, and my daughter didn't come out, and I think Amanda, our head coach, I think she saw it in my eyes. Like, I could use a sleep in, and there's so much going on. And so I got a little sleep in planned tomorrow.
Let's put it this way. It's one less thing that she has to worry about. Like, I don't have to cater to what Hayes is doing. Is this guy getting in the way? Like,
precisely.
Does he have his helmet done up? I got to enforce that on him.
Exactly right.
Silly stuff, right?
Exactly right. Exactly right. And it's a great call, and I love it. This is a Dear Hazy B. Dear Hazy B, what happens when your kid's injured and you think you got to go on the ice.
Exactly.
You pray that the coach is cool enough to say, just take the day off. And tomorrow's a 7 a.m. skate. Sunday's 8.
Yeah.
8 a.m. is a breeze.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Everybody's up. In the house.
You're up
That's
anyway.
Why.
It's amazing how different that hour is. People without kids, and young kids in particular, cannot understand that. By 7:20, you're up. 6, no one's up.
No.
So it's just a massive hookup.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of which, dear Hazy B, let's fire some up.
People send in a tweet. They write us for our professional advice on life things. Dear Hazy B, every morning my boiler has a gas leak. My wife thinks it's the baby.
Dear Hazy B.
If you want to come to Hazy B, I need honesty from you.
Hazy, you got dumped a lot. Tell him.
Grown adults with birthdays, it's asinine.
All right, dear Hazy B, brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink. And you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. I love this one. This is one O would appreciate. O would have great takes on this. We'll get this. Yeah. We'll circle back with O and we'll get his take on this. Josh in St. Catharines saying, I had the foresight recently to bring a jacket to an outing. No one else did, and they thought it was ridiculous. I'm getting goofed on. How could you bring a jacket? Later that evening, it's cooling down, but I wasn't wearing it yet. I had it on the back of my chair. Friend of ours started complaining that she was cold. Everyone pressured me to give her my jacket. I did reluctantly, but 30 minutes later, I'm freezing. And I tell that to my friend wearing my jacket, and she says, quote, yeah, it's cool, and it cools down early now, end quote. I was freezing the whole night. What do I do when I end up in this crazy situation again?
What you should do is you get mouthy to the people who were chirping you about the coat.
Yes.
You put it on and say, I'm good. Now, if it's your date or somebody else, you got to be a gentleman.
You got to man up here a little bit.
You do have to
you got to man up.
But you do, I think you give it away reluctantly and you say, this is why I brought the coat. And you idiots chirped me earlier, and I'm the only one with the foresight to bring this. And now I'm giving it out because I'm a good human.
Mm-hmm. You got to be incredibly annoying about this entire thing. So much so that people are like, I don't even want the jacket anymore. Like, if I got to hear you talk about this thing, I'd rather be cold. Because if it's your girlfriend, yeah, no problem. But if it's like a big group and there's guys and girls, it's like, it's fair game. You had every opportunity to bring a jacket just like her, and him. So, I don't know. You just got to be really annoying and force people to be like, dude, I just can't hear you anymore. I don't want the jacket.
Yeah, the way around this is you got to wear the jacket the whole night. So you got to bite the bullet and be a little bit warmer than you want to early. That's foresight. Because if it's a part of your look, no one's going to ask you for the jacket. But when you're not wearing the jacket, everyone thinks, oh, you're fine. You're not even wearing the jacket. What does it matter? And I do like the idea of there still being some standards where men realize, okay, I have to give up the jacket to a woman. If she's cold, all right. That's totally understandable. I think chivalry, it shouldn't be dead to that extent, even though this doesn't sound like it's his girlfriend. Yeah. It's not his girlfriend, which makes it way worse.
And it sounds like they were chirping him about bringing the jacket.
That's a great point. You get chirped, you can fly that right back and say, give your shirt. Take your shirt off. Tarps off if you're such a tough guy.
Being a hero, you getting chirped, you put that coat on proudly, and you just sit there and But I do think there is an opportunity to you have a win-win because you let everybody know, I was smarter than you bringing a coat, and I'm just being a nice guy. And
we've all been there where you got to give up the jacket, and you're so cold, or you're cooling down. You're like, man, why didn't she bring a jacket? Why was this not thought of? That once you get to a point where you're in the fall, we're officially in the fall, past the 21st of September, you got to have a jacket when you're going out at night.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you got to have that prepared. It's layer
season. I'm finding hoodies everywhere in my house right now. I'm like, I went for a walk with the dog. There's a hoodie there. There's something in the garage. There's layers everywhere.
It's this is a layering time of year because it's beautiful during the day.
Yeah.
Feels like July. You go outside at 2 o'clock, it's 24, 25 degrees. It's beautiful. Yeah. But the sun is going down early. If you're out late at night, it's still patio season, which throws people off. Because patio at midnight, it's cold, man. It gets cold. So I feel you. I feel for you, Josh. And you should go back at anyone that was chirping you.
Exactly.
Anyone that was chirping, you have all the right in the world to do
Josh,
that.
Josh. Maybe
It might have been Doogie. It wouldn't shock me. Doogie's out in Denver. I don't know what the hell he's doing out there, but
freezing his ass off.
yeah, he's in the Rockies.
Yeah, he's got no coat.
He's got no jacket. That's exactly what's going on. All right, boys.
Got an extra pair of mitts, though.
Yeah, exactly. Aspen. All right. Good stuff. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today and all week. We appreciate that. TV, radio, podcast, web, and, of course, up on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the weekends. We're back Monday at
4 p.m.
We'll chat then.